Imagine hearing a story so disturbing that everyone calls it a myth. A story about a government poisoning its own citizens. A disease that can turn people into living statues. Or a town where people suddenly started dancing until they collapsed. These stories sound like horror legends people tell around a campfire. But here's the terrifying part. Every single one of them actually happened. Today we're diving into dark myths that turned out to be true. And some of them are far more disturbing than fiction. 1. The town that danced until people died. In 1518, something extremely strange happened in Strasbourg. One woman walked into the street and began dancing. At first, people laughed. They thought she was celebrating something. But the woman didn't stop. She danced for hours, then for days. Soon, others joined her. Dozens of people began dancing uncontrollably. Within a week, hundreds of people were dancing in the streets, and they couldn't stop. Witnesses described people screaming, begging for help, while their bodies kept moving. Some collapsed from exhaustion. Others reportedly died from heart attacks, strokes, and dehydration. At the time, doctors believed the only cure was more dancing. They even built a stage and hired musicians, which made things even worse. Historians still debate what caused it. Some believe it was mass hysteria. Others think contaminated grain may have caused hallucinations. But one thing is certain. The dancing plague of 1518 really happened, and no one fully understands why. 2. The government that poisoned its own citizens. For decades, this story sounded like a conspiracy theory, but it was real. From 1932 to 1972, the United States conducted a secret medical study on hundreds of black men in Alabama. The study focused on syphilis. The men were told they were receiving free medical care, but they weren't. Researchers actually withheld treatment from them, just to see what the disease would do to their bodies. Even after penicillin became a known cure in the 1940s, the participants were still denied treatment. Doctors watched as the disease slowly destroyed their health. Some men died. Others unknowingly passed the disease to their families. It wasn't until 1972 that a whistleblower exposed the experiment. Today, it's known as the Tuskegee Syphilis Study, one of the most disturbing medical scandals in history. For years, people believed it was just a rumor, but it turned out to be horrifyingly true. 3. The disease that turns people into statues. This next one sounds like something from a fantasy movie. A condition where muscles slowly turn into bone. Imagine waking up one day and realizing your body is slowly locking itself into place. This real disorder is called fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva, or FOP. People with FOP develop extra bone growth in their muscles, ligaments, and tendons. Over time, their body forms a second skeleton. Small injuries can trigger the process. Even a simple bruise may cause bone to form where it shouldn't. Eventually, many patients lose the ability to move entirely. Their bodies slowly become rigid. It's one of the rarest diseases in the world. And for centuries, stories about it were dismissed as myths about humans turning to stone. But sadly, it's completely real. 4. The experiment that tried to control minds. During the Cold War, intelligence agencies became obsessed with one terrifying question: could the human mind be controlled? In the 1950s and 60s, the CIA launched a secret program called MKUltra. Its goal was to explore psychological manipulation, and the experiments were extreme. Subjects were unknowingly given powerful drugs like LSD. Some were placed in sensory deprivation tanks for days. Others were subjected to intense interrogation techniques. The most disturbing part? Many participants had no idea they were part of an experiment. The program ran for years before it was exposed in the 1970s. Even today, many documents about MKUltra remain classified, which means we may never know everything that happened. But what we do know is disturbing enough. 5. The village where people suddenly went blind. In 1930, a mysterious illness began spreading through a small region of Japan. At first, people complained about numbness in their hands and feet. Then their vision started to fade. Eventually, many victims became completely blind. Some developed paralysis. Others died. Locals believed it was a curse, but the truth was even darker. The illness was caused by industrial mercury poisoning. Factories had been dumping toxic waste into the water for years. Fish in the area absorbed the mercury, and when people ate the fish, the poison entered their bodies. The disease became known as Minamata disease. Thousands of people were affected before the contamination was fully recognized. For a long time, people thought the symptoms were just superstition, but they were witnessing the effects of environmental poisoning. 6. The sleep experiment that terrified scientists. In the 1960s, researchers began studying what would happen if humans stopped sleeping. Participants stayed awake for extreme lengths of time while scientists monitored their behavior. At first, the effects seemed manageable, but after several days, things became disturbing. Participants started experiencing severe paranoia. They reported seeing things that weren't there. Some became emotionally unstable or aggressive. One famous case involved a teenager who stayed awake for 11 days straight. By the end, he experienced memory loss, hallucinations, and severe cognitive problems. Scientists learned something terrifying. Sleep deprivation can cause the brain to slowly lose its grip on reality, which is why sleep isn't just important, it's essential for survival. History is filled with stories people once dismissed as myths, tales that sounded too strange, too disturbing, or too unbelievable to be real. But sometimes the truth is far darker than fiction. A dancing plague that killed people, secret government experiments, diseases that slowly turn the body to bone. These aren't horror stories. They're real events that happened in our world, and they remind us of something unsettling. Just because a story sounds impossible doesn't mean it isn't true.